Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crack One Open podcast. I'm your host, Big Bob, with my co-host
D-Rock. What's going on, everybody? Hope you sit back and crack one open with us. I already have mine cracked.
I had to crack mine.
So before we even get into this episode, I just want to call out you, the audience, and everybody who follows us on Instagram that participated in our poll. Last week, we asked the question whether you fold or crinkle your toilet paper, and I put that poll out online for everybody, and 41% of you guys say you crinkle your toilet paper. You're animals. Monsters, and I don't know how we go from here. It's just, that is such a nasty thing to do. And like I said last time, you're responsible for the tearing down of the Amazon rainforest. I don't know how you're going to live with yourself.
Yeah, that means 41% of the people that interacted with that are just, like you said, absolute animals. It doesn't make sense. You guys are gross. You guys probably get shit on your fingers frequently. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But, you know, now that we're kind of, we usually throw in those different questions and scenarios. This week, I want to know, if you had to become an inanimate object for 1 year, what would you be?
Stripper pole.
A stripper pole.
Shout out strippers.
Yeah, stripper pole. So why would you choose that?
Do I really need to explain why?
Details. Give us the details, Big Bob.
Okay, all right. Let me specify where I would like to be a stripper pole at if I had that. Had to be an inanimate object for a year. Probably like one of, or the top strip club in the country. I don't know. I don't really frequent strip clubs that much. I don't know where they have good ones. Probably Vegas.
Is it Palace in the Pines?
Definitely not that place. Nope. No. Fuck that place.
Just to give everybody some clarification, Palace in the Pines is a hole-in-the-wall strip club. And if you're ever looking for like a sexually transmitted disease, just go in there and breathe the air.
That's where they originated from.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it was like, wherever you think these diseases came from, Palace in the Pines is the answer. And in future episodes, we have some funny ass stories that's happened there, so we could share those.
Yeah, we could I definitely have a few. But yeah, I'd want to be one at a really good one. Don't know where, probably Vegas, like I said. Yeah, I just think that'd be a cool inanimate object to be,
Yeah.
What about you? What would you be?
Yeah, so we're kind of in line because, we're one and the same, pretty much.
True.
But, I don't want just someone grinding on me. I want to kind of do the fucking even when I can't. So I want to become like a dildo.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you asked that question, I had three things in mind. What I said was one of them. That was another. And actually, I had two things in mind. Because I can't remember what the third one was. But yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was perfect anyways, because being a man, you're always just trying to have sex anyways. So I wouldn't see my life changing very much. This way, I just become a big fuck stick for everybody or whoever is using it. But hopefully, I get to someone that has like a nice puss and not someone with like something I would scream and cry at looking at.
Yeah, hopefully, like you're one that's on the set of a very high quality Brazzers video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Definitely be on one of those videos, so then you're getting some stardom. You're in all these different videos. People looking at you be like, "Yeah, I'm doing the fucking."
Now you're a celebrity.
yeah. Be like, and then like you make news. You're like, dude, I was that dildo. You come back being a person. I was him. I was that guy.
I swear to God, I know you guys won't believe me. I was that.
Yeah, and like the year pops up while you're on stage, like while you're on set, and you just pop up and you're a person. You're like, gotcha, guy.
Told you guys. That was me.
I told you.
I knew I was going to be something when I grew up.
But speaking of like someone who's going to become an inanimate object this year, Carson Wentz. This guy, I'm not hating on him, but already hurt and not sure how long he's just going to be sitting on the shelf. But it's kind of a really unfortunate situation that Indianapolis Colts got going on their hands.
Yeah, I saw Shefty put out that they're doing more testing to see how serious it is before they make like a decision, and then so that could either go one of two ways, either good or bad, because if they're not coming right up, apparently nothing's broken, because if something was broken they wouldn't be going through more testing if like he had a shattered foot or something. But I don't know. It's not good for sure. I mean, who the hell?
I mean, it could be something real, even more serious if they're really trying to dig in there first.
True, that's a good point too.
The other, like, I think it's interesting that it's either going to be pretty much season ending, or he could go to therapy for a couple weeks and play week 1.
Yeah,
because a lot is up in the air, and I don't know how you really plan for that when it's one way or the other.
No, I mean, they don't even have Brissett anymore, do they? I don't think they do.
I don't think so. I believe their backups, his name's like Jacob something, and he's a second year. Man, what is in my eye right now? But it's just, he's just not proven. And I was reading an article where they're like, well, the Colts said they want to see more of him, and now they're kind of just forced at this point. Like all training camp, at least, he's going to be getting QB1 snaps.
So that like Thursday practice that they had going on, it had to have been right before he got hurt because it was pretty later in the day. I saw somebody posted that like this video of him throwing a bomb across field, for a touchdown to a receiver, and it was a beautiful pass. Like I'm pretty sure he was scrambling a little bit, and he threw the pass, and it looked fantastic. And I was like, oh, Carson Wentz got it back, and then wake up the next morning and no, he's out.
He's a great quarterback. It's just like there are some issues that people have to overcome, and that's what separates good quarterbacks from great quarterbacks, and people who have long, successful careers and short bursts of success. But the one thing that I don't think enough people are really paying attention to right now is the trade implications. So we all know that he came from the Eagles, and there were some different standards that he had to meet, and maybe standards isn't the right word, but so he needs to play 75% of all offensive snaps for the Indianapolis Colts during the regular season, or 70% if they make the playoffs. And say he doesn't make that 75% of snaps, he will then, or not he, the Colts will then have to trade or send over a first-round draft pick for the 2022 draft over to the Eagles. So the Eagles are over there just, mouth-watering because they're, and in return, like if they don't get that, if he does play over the 75% or 70, depending,
they only get a second, right?
Yeah, they only get a second round, and the trade value for that is so significant. And the talent, I mean, you're so much more likely to find a starter in the first than you are in the second.
Yeah. The one thing that I think about when I hear that stuff is, so, like, how when all this shit was going on with Carson at the end of the season and, people were saying that he hates it there and there was, like, apparent supposed beef between him and the coach that had gotten fired. Like, the first thing that my mind goes to is, what if he, started to hate that organization so much that he was like, let's make him sweat a little bit. Let's say I got injured or whatever, and put these reports out, make the Eagles sweat a little bit, like, oh shit, or we're gonna get a first round pick and get all excited.
Sweating, but like mouth watering.
Right, but when I said sweating, I meant like get all excited, like holy shit, we're gonna get a first round pick from the Colts, like let's fucking go, and then he just pops up first week after no reports coming out and starts throwing fucking bombs. That's where my mind goes to. It'd be kind of hard to pull that off. I know it's probably not the case, but
it would be. And it's the Colts are just interesting because they're one of those teams that I don't know if they really have like a rivalry with anybody, and everybody could just kind of watch them and like kind of enjoy it. And they have so much talent there that I could see them being. I mean, I know we say this every week, but like there's so much talent in the AFC that it's going to be such a tough conference to get into the playoffs and make it to the Super Bowl from there. And if he's healthy and can come back through therapy or short-term minor surgery, it's just going to be so much better for football.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted them to do good. I don't know. I mean, they have a nobody quarterback now. If this is if this continues, I mean, nobody in my world. I don't know who the fuck their backup is anymore because I'm pretty sure Jacoby Brissett's gone. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. My Browns are still rolling strong, so that's all I really care about. But
yeah, I think me and you this season having the podcast, it's really going to open our eyes to keeping an eye on a lot more teams and almost kind of feel a closer like a bond to some of these. Like I'm a big Steelers guy, you're a big Browns guy. But I think we'll start having a lot more like second and third teams that we're really like kind of rooting for and pulling for.
Well, an inside joke between me and my friends is that I'm the best front runner. Well, I say that I'm the best front runner in the country because I have a new second favorite team every year. So I haven't made my decision yet. I don't like Tom Brady, so we'll see who my second is this year.
You do hop around, and Bob's like the slut of your class, whether you're in high school or college. He gets around.
I gets around the NFL,
He gets
dude.
on that jock strap.
Yeah, I jump on the wagon, man. If somebody's doing good, or even really if they're not doing good, like, and I just like a player. Like, for example, right now I'm probably leaning towards Green Bay as my second favorite team this year. Last year I think it was the Ravens. I can't really remember.
But when we were kids growing up, you had an Adrian Peterson jersey.
Like, I liked Adrian
You went
Peterson.
out of your way and bought an expensive jersey for a shitty team, but for a great
Adrian
running
Peterson, dude, he fucked shit up. But
Yeah.
and if you also remember, I followed Mike Vick wherever he went after he got out of prison. The only team I didn't root for him when he was on was the Steelers. I rooted for him when he was on the Jets. I rooted for him when he was on Philly. I was a big Philly fan for a while. Like, my whole room was Philly. I don't know if you remember that. I had Eagle shit everywhere down there.
I remember you had that. I didn't remember it was like everywhere, but I remember you were a Philly fan and you had some gear and definitely were showing a lot of support for that organization.
Mm-hmm.
But someone I thought that was in a pretty different situation. So a couple weeks ago, they had a lot of QB issues, and that's Green Bay. But now that Aaron Rodgers is back, it doesn't seem that they're in that boat anymore. But they got torched online and during their press conference. Did you get a chance to see that?
Fuck yeah, I did. I didn't see the full 25-minute press conference, but I seen some main points of it, and I thought it was I can't give any more respect to Aaron Rodgers for not only holding out and, like, he wasn't really airing his opinions out, like, over this, kind of gray area that we've had for the past couple months with him not really saying anything or whatever. He didn't really air anything out then, but you knew he was frustrated with shit. And the first day he's back at fucking training camp, man, he lights that organization up. He knew he was back, and he didn't give a fuck what the organization did. What are you going to do? Drop me? Good. I can go wherever I want now. Anybody will take me. There's 4 organizations in the league maybe that would not take Aaron Rodgers. And what's the worst that could have happened for him? He lit everybody up in that front office, and he didn't care what happened.
Well, there's no consequences. I mean, it was like, I can't think of a great scenario to compare it to, but I've never seen a player that just doesn't matter. Dude's made a ton of money, and he's even said it. Like, I'm not trying to shit on the organization. They paid me a lot of money, but he's done, and he doesn't matter. Money's not an object to him anymore. All he wants to do is have a voice and win. And something to me that I don't know how front office of Green Bay doesn't look at this, but obviously Aaron Rodgers wants to have a say, and not in just what he does in football, but outside of it. He's an owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, and he obviously wants to get into the decision making. Sorry for my stutter, but he's put his money where his mouth is and showed that. So why is the Green Bay Packers, why wouldn't they do that and let him actually have a chance? And I think them bringing back Randall Cobb is too little too late, honestly.
Yeah, it could be too little too late, but that's what I find so fucking funny about this whole thing is he goes out and airs the entire, fucking lights up the organization, all the fuck ups that they've made, specifically naming players that they have let go on bad terms and fucked over.
That was crazy.
He didn't hold back at all. He was completely honest, upfront, blunt about it, which a lot of people call him a douchebag for being that way, but that's just how he is. But they went out the next day and got him somebody that he clicked with for so long, and that he's fucking thrilled to have back. I don't know what he could have done differently to get a better outcome. Like, he likes Randall. He has a chemistry with Randall. Randall was sitting on the bench for the fucking Texans. So now he's coming back to Green Bay, going to have a number one, like, he's going to probably be the first or second person in Aaron's mind when he's throwing the ball. Like, it was a win-win-win.
It was definitely, I think the person who won the most was Randall Cobb. I mean, he got out of that shithole organization of the Texans.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on there? That's a whole, we could dedicate a whole episode to that. But I just think it's too little too late in terms of not even just like Aaron Rodgers is already pissed, but I mean, Randall Cobb, I mean, he's kind of an older receiver. And so it's like, yeah, there's chemistry, but chemistry is only going to get you so far. And I think you just need to really give him the voice that he wants and let him make decisions. He said he wants to retire there. I'm going to guarantee you he doesn't retire there if he doesn't get a voice. There's no fucking way that this man was willing to sit there all year, keep his fucking mouth shut, come here, burn the place down, and then just go back to the way it was. There's no way. And this man, I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not. Well, I should say I haven't been in the past. And the way he's been on different media shows, like the Pat McAfee show, has really opened my eyes to what the man really is. And I see a lot of kind of how I am as a person. He's just blunt. There's no sugarcoating things, and that can come off like such an asshole. People think I'm an asshole.
I was just gonna say, for people that don't know Derek, he is the most blunt person, and he's never meaning to be an asshole. He's just so blunt and upfront about it, you can't help but respect it. And that's how Aaron is.
And I just get it. Once I saw that and it connected for me. It's like he just wants the best for you, whether it's hard to hear or not. And they're sugarcoating and dancing around a subject only prolongs the inevitable. So why not just rip the Band-Aid off, get it over with, and be done with it? And I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think if Green Bay actually had a single owner that step in and say have a voice and be over the GM, this would be it would be very different. But when you have 500,000 owners of 2 million different shares of ownership, how the fuck are they ever going to make a decision? You have one shareholders meeting a year. You need an owner. And that just goes down to the whole issue with the share ownership of it. There's no one to keep in check of a GM.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what he did was probably the best thing that he could have done to get the result that he wants, because now it's not just between him and management. Now it's between him, all the NFL fans, and more importantly, all several I don't know exactly how many, but tens of thousands of owners of the Green Bay Packers. Now they know the real reason. He said everything that happened. He was completely upfront and, like you said, blunt about it. There's no more excuses now. Now everybody knows what his beef is. And now it's in, management's hands, whether you fix it or continue to let it go the way it is. And the most interesting thing that he said to me was how people are coming here to play with me, and you could have read that in multiple different ways as he's the same cocky asshole that we thought he was, or you could read it as
he's fucking great,
or you could read it as he's the fucking reigning MVP of the fucking league.
He's 37.
Yeah, he's the MVP of the fucking league, playing with, I don't want to say minimal talent, because everybody in the NFL is in a lot better shape than me.
They're so much better than we can even imagine. Right. Yeah, they have Devontae Adams and a couple other pieces that are good, but it's not championship level, obviously, since they haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, and when you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, multiple-time MVP quarterback, saying that they're coming here to play with me, I want to have some recruiting say in who we bring in. You, as any kind of management, owner, whatever, you jump on that and you say, absolutely, dude. If you want to take a bigger role in that, be my guest. Please get us some fucking top tier talent, and let's fucking go win a couple more rings before you retire. That's all he wants.
Because he's talking about he trains with people in the off season, and he knows he's talking to her. Just whisper in their ear, and you know what? I guess it's against rules to recruit in unregulated times, but between boys, it's like you're just talking. That person's not going to go and say anything, and if you don't think that's already going on, you're full of shit, and you have a really fucked up perception of the world. The other thing that, as we're talking about this, that I think is pretty interesting, is the ownership has to be fucking pissed about this. Maybe not ownership, but executives, since the owners are probably actually having management, fans.
Yeah.
But the executives have to be pissed. But, and I'm sorry if you could hear this truck. And remember, number one bedroom podcast in the world.
Big Florida guy.
But the management has to be pissed because, they're scorching him. But at one point, you have to almost look at it and be, like, impressed. He's very calculated about what he did. You said he was quiet the entire offseason. He kind of just let the media create stories and everything, and none of it is actually what he wanted. But he comes out to training camp. All the media is going to be there because they all want to talk to Aaron, and then he just puts you on blast. That just tells me that this man knows how to get, and knows how to get results. Mm-hmm. So why not just take that transition and give him a chance? What's the fucking point going to be? Like, oh, he might bring in a great receiver. Oh, he's going to bring in an excellent tight end. Oh, boo fucking who? And you're going to have to pay them a little bit more than you're going to pay average receivers.
Yeah, and the other thing
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't, for sure I don't either. But the other thing that was interesting is when he was naming off all those vets that Green Bay let go and stuff, it wasn't just offensive players. He was naming great defensive players as well. So, he knows that, if somebody's coming here, if he's trying to recruit somebody there from a defensive, position, they're also going there to play with Aaron Rodgers. They're also going there because he's the leader of that offense. And he could, Aaron could very well be like, you're the leader of the defense. I want you to come here and be the leader of the defense. None of it is a bad thing for him wanting to have recruiting say.
Absolutely, because he can make his own defense look great. And that might be weird to say, but if he can keep the defense off the field, that defense isn't getting winded. And that means that they could sit there and put a lot more energy into it. And Aaron Rodgers knows how to run up the fucking score. So then the defense has a little bit of breathing room too. It's not like it's a 14-7 game and one touchdown decides it. It's like Aaron knows how to keep some space in the game. And who wouldn't want to go and play for that? And I know we're just kind of talking about the same stuff over and over again, but I think it's just that obvious, and I think this GM has a lot of fucking issues with letting control go.
Yeah, that's the only thing that it can come down to is definitely the last say in control. I mean, I don't know. There's no downside to letting Aaron have more say, except going to the Super Bowl and losing.
Yeah.
That's the only negative side of it, in my opinion.
But it's not even negative because, we still look at him as this great quarterback, and he goes to the NFC Championship.
Every year.
4 years in a row?
Yeah, I think 3 or 4.
And loses. So if he just goes to the next step, it's still improving. It's still more people. It's more revenue. He's doing everything. But things are coming back into Aaron Rodgers. It's his control because they renegotiated the contract. He can now be traded after this season before the 2022 NFL draft. So it's pretty much like, all right, well, he's pretty much gone. And then I've also read another thing where he has the power to retire and keep his salary or his signing bonus, which was 11 or I think it was 11 million. And so he has a lot of control there. Keeps the money, could retire and force their hand, or they could just trade him and actually get value from him because he's going to command first-round draft picks that they're going to need.
Yeah, I think he's going to do... All right, let me say this. Unless they change everything that made it to the point where Aaron couldn't come to an agreement on a contract extension, unless they change everything to suit what Aaron wants, Aaron's gone after the season. And, he either retires and doesn't get that hit, that $11 million hit.
Yeah, for some reason I think it's either 11 or $14 million.
Or they trade him, try to get something out of him, and then he goes and plays for a team that he wants to be at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an interesting position, and it was so refreshing to see someone really speak their mind. But
yeah,
I want to jump over to something a little less confusing and a little bit more up our alley. And so I want to know, what is the worst buy one get one free sale of all time? Like, what could that be? And it doesn't have to be like an actual item. It could just kind of be like, just anything in that realm. Whatever you buy one of something, you're going to get the other for free.
Probably a Plan B pill.
Would the second one just be Plan C?
Buy one, get one free is you buy one, and then you get another Plan B free, right?
Yeah, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, since Plan B is like, your actual Plan B, but the second one would just be like Plan C.
True. Yeah, it's like that would probably be the worst because like, girl goes in there after a long night or something, and a little nervous about what may come in a couple weeks. You go in there, get a Plan B pill, and she's like, "Hey, these are on sale. You get another one free for next time." Like, that's just insulting. That's probably the worst one that I could think of. What about you?
So, I'm kind of the guy who comes up with these funny questions and make sure I insert them. So I had a little bit more time to think than Bob. It's definitely not a product, but more of a service. And I have to say that I think a buy one, get one free sex change surgery has to be the worst thing of all time. How pointless.
That's like, hey, I know you made the wrong decision. When you want to go back, come see me.
It's like, hey, you're not gonna want to keep this vagina forever. We got your penis sitting here.
We'll sew it right back on.
Yeah, and it's just like, that would be pointless. You got to be able to. You got to be when you make that decision, there ain't no going back. Their penis ain't in no jar.
Yeah, and if you find a doctor like that, you better keep them for life because that shit don't come often.
And once it's cut off, it won't come at all.
Neither will you. I'm a piece of shit.
Oh my god. Man. So, I'm going to be 26 this year, and I think a lot about like a bucket list. And bucket list, scary things that you could do once in a lifetime. And the thing I keep wanting to do is go skydiving. And I want to do it before I get married and have kids and really have a lot more people being responsible that I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
What is your stance on skydiving? Would you ever do it?
No.
Ever?
No.
So, are you just afraid of heights? Are you afraid of the chute not opening? What's the case with that?
Okay, so I don't want to say that I'm afraid of heights in this scenario, but it's probably more than likely something going wrong with the parachute because that's scary. I mean, at that point, you're literally like, it's done. You don't have any time to do shit.
You do have 2 chutes. They have 2 chutes.
No, I guess in that case, then my new fear would be both of them failing, or not extending enough to get the full, resistance that you need against the wind to land right, but and then like just crashing and fucking breaking a million bones and just being like a fucking vegetable the rest of my life.
You would probably just be dead at that point.
I'd rather be dead if I didn't die. I would tell my mom, go get my gun.
You probably look like pudding if you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, if like something went wrong like that and it was like so many horrible breaks that I would never walk again or whatever, like I already got enough issues if I couldn't walk or something. No, I'd tell Brooke or my mom or whatever, go get my gun, and I'd fucking done. Oh I'm not dealing with that shit, dude. Like,
so, but you're saying that there's nothing in the world that you could really like that would sway you. So, we want this podcast to be huge, and I think it would be fun to set goals. So, since that is something that is so scary for you, and most podcasts don't ever become this big, would you do it if we ever hit 1 million downloads a month?
Oh yeah, if it was 1 million downloads a month, yeah, I'd skydive with one parachute and roll the dice. But
that's pretty sketchy.
But yeah, that's probably one of the few things, other than maybe $100 million, that I would do it for. Like, my sister did it a couple of years ago, and she asked me and Brooke to go with her. Mm-hmm. I didn't even tell Brooke about it. Brooke, if you're listening, this is probably the first time you're hearing of it. I said, no, absolutely fucking not. I'm not doing that. Like, it scares the shit out of me. She said it was the best thing that she's ever done in her life. Congratulations. I won't be I won't be participating. It scares me. I have anxiety just thinking about it.
I have anxiety about the chute not opening as well, but I was reading this quote before, and it was talking about the thing you desire is on the other side of fear. And so people talk a lot about just doing things that overcome fears, and even if it's something that doesn't resemble anything close to your life, like skydiving, what does that have to do with anything in your life? But since you overcame that one fear, you might be more willing to take the other one on as well, and overcome that one and the next one and the next one, and get to the point you want. And that's the part that's attractive to me, and just viewing the world from a different angle. I think we're also conceited in ourselves, and when you really get to just put your entire life and your fate, like the fate of your existence, in a parachute, I just think it's very vulnerable, and I like that.
Well, when you put it like that kind of does seem more appealing to me too, but still, I don't think it did it for me. Like, it definitely made it more like, maybe I would try it, but no, I'm still on the fence. It just scares me, man. Said,
and I get that. I mean, it would scare me too. Like, I wouldn't be lying. Like, if I probably jumped out, my suit wouldn't be full of piss. But
yeah, like, I'm not afraid of heights, but like in the sense of I wouldn't go on a roller coaster or something like that. But like these people that do the free climbing and shit, and or people that sit on the edge. Is that just
like the people without the lines and stuff? They just climb.
Yeah, not even just rocks. Like, dude, they'll climb up fucking scaffolding of a new construction skyscraper. Rogan had this guy on a couple years ago that does that in the UK, and I forget his name, something Kingston or something. If you're listening,
Sean Kingston.
Yeah, that guy. Beautiful girls, that guy. But no, these dudes will just climb up shit or down shit with nothing holding them on. In the middle, at the very beginning of the morning where everything's dewy and shit. Or even the people that sit on the edge of the Grand Canyon for a picture. Fuck that, dude. I'm not afraid of heights in certain senses, but when you're sitting on the edge of the Grand Canyon and that fucking thing can crumble and you go, there's nothing you can, it just gives me anxiety.
Have you ever been there?
I'm anxious. No.
I went there. I think I was 10. I was probably 10 years old. It's actually the same age when I went to that shitty Flintstone park and I pooped my pants. But this was the day after, because we were actually driving to the Grand Canyon. We stopped at that Flintstone place. So we go to the Grand Canyon, and being a kid, you think you're invincible. And I'm climbing all over these rocks. There was this rock formation and this bridge of a rock. So it was this rock sticking up, this bridge, and there was just nothing underneath it. And I just sprint out there. My dad's like, no, no, no. And I'm like, what? And I felt like it was safe and it was cool. But so we go down, and we did not bring enough water. It was 120 degrees, and we're all delirious. We have walking sticks. We go back up the hill. It's not even a hill. The fucking canyon, I guess. And I'm delirious. I put my walking stick down into the ground, and I trip over it. And Bob, I shit you not, I literally am over the edge. My feet are on the ground, but my body is hanging over the edge. My dad reaches out and has the back of my shirt in his hand. And I'm looking into the Grand Canyon, and I actually got goosebumps. But yeah, I'm looking into the Grand Canyon, and I can't believe I'm not dead. And he just grabs me by the back of the shirt and pulls me back over. And I remember I believe I put the walking stick down. And I was like, don't eat it. You buy the stick to help you, but dude, the stick almost fucking killed me.
Holy shit. How old were you?
10, maybe 11.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, see, that's too much.
Yeah, and to me, so, you're talking about this parachute not opening, and I think that, and I'm like, but my dad won't be there to grab the back of my shirt so I don't splat.
Right.
Because where we were at that point, I mean, it was a several 100-foot drop, and I would have been like impaled on a tree down the below.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So was it just like straight drop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because you're walking, so the canyon wall is like this, and you have like the trail like this. And I just tripped, and I was like over, and my dad just caught me.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Shout out Derek Sr., dude.
Yeah. Shout out Big Daddy.
Shout out Big Daddy.
Yeah, dude. So crazy. But, yeah, it's, I don't even know how we got on this conversation. But, yeah, it's so...
I don't either.
So interesting and
wild.
It's scary times out there. So whenever you're out there, just be whatever you're doing. Just know that there are real consequences to this shit, and just be careful and have fun, but definitely still explore.
And if you ever go somewhere on a hike with your family and they're selling walking sticks, don't buy the walking stick.
Yeah, exactly. Save yourself like $50.
$50 for a stick?
It wasn't a stick. It was like a metal stick with a grip and like it puts around a wristband. It's a whole thing. But, it's enough. I don't want to ramble too much about me almost dying at that point. I have enough of these kind of fucked up stories.
$50 for a stick? I would have told them to go fuck themselves. What the hell, Derek Sr.? What are you doing?
The stick might as well just fuck you if you're $50.
Stick literally almost fucked you.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got some UFC stuff that I'd like to talk about. We haven't really talked about some fighting in a while.
UFC's been a little bit of a touchy subject ever since we had I think it was like 1,000 people send us like death threats.
Yeah, fuck those pussies.
Yeah,
and that isn't why we haven't talked about it. There's just been nothing exciting to talk about. Go fuck yourselves.
So if you guys are listening that gave us some hate, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
we're just
go
casuals.
fuck. We're just fat casuals with the
fat
number one bedroom
sitting...
podcast in the world.
Exactly.
And they helped make it happen. But anyways.
Exactly. We couldn't do it without their hate.
Exactly. But the UFC 268 card that they are supposedly targeting for November at Madison Square Garden. We'll see if there's actually going to be allowed fans in attendance at this point. But Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje are supposed to fight in a lightweight bout, which is awesome because last time we seen Chandler, he had a pretty good, I think, 2-round fight with Charles Oliveira and for the vacant title. Mm-hmm. Michael Chandler did pretty good first round, got submitted, I think, the second round. And we haven't seen Chandler since then, which it wasn't that long ago, but still. And then Justin Gaethje, even more exciting. He hasn't fought since I don't even think that was this year.
He hasn't fought since fuck?
Exactly.
Fuck's been around forever.
That's right. He hasn't fought in a very long time. He hasn't fought since he fought Habib. I want to say it was at Fight Island. I don't think it was even in 2020 or 2021. I think it was in 2020. But he hasn't fought for a while. They've been talking a little bit of shit online. So that'll be fun. I'm excited for that. And then the fight that everybody's wanted to see again, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2 is going to be for the belt at UFC 268. And that is super exciting. That was one of the best fights I've ever seen. Kamaru broke Colby's jaw. Supposedly. Colby said he didn't do it, but his jaw was broken. His whole fucking face was swole. But that's going to be a hell of a fight. I don't even know who I want to win. I love Kamaru so much. And that first fight was before Kamaru switched camps. And God damn it, I'm drawing a blank on the dude's name. But he's fighting with the same head coach that coaches Rose Namajunas and Justin Gaethje. And Kamaru's striking has improved tenfold since that first fight with Colby. And I'm just super excited to see what happens this time.
If you guys didn't know, Bob is our resident UFC fanatic, and I'm just a casual. So everyone who's calling us casuals, that's just me. I'm just sitting here learning with you guys. Everything Bob just said, I'm like, the only name I know is Michael Chandler, so it's kind of...
I'm still a casual too, though. I learn week to week. Like, I don't, study textbooks like some of these dudes do. Like, Ariel Helwani fucking knows what happened in every round of every fight for the past 15 years. Like, I learn week to week. I like who I like. I don't like who I don't like. And I'm also tipsy, so I'm rambling a little bit. But yeah, those two fights are going to be fucking awesome. They could blow the rest of that card. Just put a bunch of nobodies on that entire card, and this is going to do a shit ton of pay-per-view buys off of just those two fights. You got a title fight, and then you got a contender fight, and those are just two banger fights. Colby and Usman isn't going to the ground. They fucking hate each other. They're just going to beat the shit out of each other for 25 minutes again if they have to.
Do you think they actually hate each other, or do you think it's a lot for show?
No, they hate each other. Colby's a very hateable person, depending on if you can see through his antics or not. So Colby was going to get dropped by the UFC a couple years ago because he wasn't selling fights. He was a great fighter, and they thought they were going to have a big superstar out of him, but he just wasn't selling fights. He was beating the shit out of everybody, but he just wasn't bringing in the numbers for being on pay-per-view. And when you have somebody that good, you need to sell pay-per-views to keep them on your roster, or else you're wasting money in a sense because, you know, they're not bringing more eyes on you. So then he started going the MAGA route, and, you know, he knew how polarizing Trump was in one way or another, and he started just pumping, you know, wearing MAGA hats and all that shit. So everybody started hating him, and people started buying pay-per-views to see him get his ass beat. And it just never really happened until he fought Usman. And Usman, that was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen because it was just back and forth ass whooping. And yeah, so they're fighting for a second time now, which I don't know how long it's going to go this time because, like I said, Usman has a whole new team now. He's got a better striking coach because, I mean, he coaches some of the best fighters in the world. And Trevor Whitman, that's who it is. I remember. Trevor Whitman is coaching Kamaru now. Kamaru left wherever the hell he was now to go there. And his striking has improved, like I said, tenfold. But that'll be super fun. So that's targeted for November. So now I have something to look forward to. A couple months away. And then another UFC thing is Stipe. So the One Championship organization tweeted out or posted on Instagram a picture of I'm assuming their Dana White saying who should One Championship.
What's the other organization?
One Championship. Oh, the other one other than those two?
It's called One Championship?
Yeah, it's called One Championship.
I'm sorry, but yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure. But go on, what happened? What did they say?
So they posted a picture on Instagram of who I'm assuming, I don't really watch them that much, but who I'm assuming is their Dana White, like their president. And they said who should One Championship sign next, and Stipe commented a bunch of emojis underneath it, like, you know, the hand on the chin, like thinking. And
it's like me.
Yeah, he was like, you know, pretty much saying like, I wonder if I should try over there. And somebody replied. I wasn't able to find the reply because Instagram, the way that the replies work on comments, rough. It sucks. But Stipe replied back to some comment and said, I shouldn't have to wait for a winner. I have the most heavyweight title defenses of all time. We're, meaning him and Ngannou, are 1-1, but DC got instant rematches and trilogies against me. So you can tell he's frustrated, and I don't blame him. The UFC didn't wait for him to heal up after the first time that he fought DC and he got knocked out in the first round. The UFC didn't wait for him to reclaim his title. They gave DC another title fight against Derek Lewis, while Stipe was kind of hanging back trying to heal. DC got knocked out in a couple minutes, if that. They should have given it back to him. He got caught.
How long's DC been out of the UFC?
Recent, like just now?
Yeah, because he's a commentator now, so he's probably not fighting at least.
Since the last Stipe fight, maybe... probably almost a year ago now.
Oh, so he's pretty new to the commentating world. I was going to say, like...
No, he's been commentating for a couple years. But this is he's actually retired now for about a year.
Oh, that's interesting that you could do both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few fighters that do both.
But it kind of goes back to the whole thing of all the episodes that I've been learning and talking about this with you. I feel like there's just no regulation in UFC, where it's just kind of like whatever Dana says, Dana does, and that's what sticks. And that's cool. Like, I think Dana does a great job with the UFC, but I understand frustrations in terms of who was the guy where it's like a vacant or a placeholder like belt.
That's for the heavy. Yeah, that's for heavyweight. So
is that this?
Yeah. So I want to say it's the next pay-per-view coming up. It's Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane for the vacant heavyweight title, because for some reason they didn't strip him, but for some reason they're doing a vacant or an interim a vacant heavyweight title fight versus Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane, because Francis can't defend a title right now for some reason. I don't understand why. He barely took any damage, but
that's what I'm saying. So they get to do that. They get to do that, even though neither of those people are going to be the real title holder,
right? And
because it's probably great for money and great for views and relevancy. But this guy who's defending it and he can't get rematches or fights as quickly as they were giving DC, I think that's just crazy. For the fact that Dana's like, yep, we get to do this even though you're not ready in time, but you want to fight these other people and you can't. And that's just coming from a casual, for all you fucking haters. But I don't blame someone for wanting to explore other options. And I don't know the size of this other place or the pay, but it has to be pretty comparable if he's actually giving this attention.
Yeah, I mean, but like how you said, it would make, you kind of like alluded to, it would make financial sense because it would sell a lot of pay-per-views or whatever. It really wouldn't. What would sell pay-per-views is a trilogy against a 1-in-1, fight matchup, being Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic for the belt, a trilogy fight to be like the undisputed champ. That would sell the most pay-per-views. Francis is a scary motherfucker, and Stipe is the most accomplished heavyweight champion of not only the UFC's history, but probably any fighting organization outside of boxing. He's probably the most accomplished. He has defended the belt more times than anyone. He has reclaimed the belt that he lost to somebody and then defended it against him again. It doesn't make sense. It's insulting to Stipe, and if he left the UFC, I wouldn't blame him one bit. He would probably get paid more at ONE FC anyway, to be honest, because, like I said, he's the most decorated heavyweight of all time in MMA. They would probably break him off a big-ass check. And I understand why he's pissed. Francis is 100% capable of defending his belt. And if Stipe wants to go, he should go defend his belt again. If he thinks he's as good as he is, meaning Francis, he should go defend it. Because if Stipe is ready to go, and if he's pissed, that means he's ready to go, do it. Put it on. But instead you're having Derek Lewis, who I love. Derek Lewis is fun, he's entertaining, and he's a fucking monster. And Cyril Gane, which is a well-rounded fighter for heavyweights. I mean, it's a good fight, but it's only a good fight if the most accomplished heavyweight fighter that is not retired at the moment doesn't want to fight, and he does, apparently. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing that would make sense in this scenario, but it's clearly not the case. So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm curious to see what happens over the next few months. And I'm trying to learn and take in as much as I can from our conversations in and outside of the podcast, and just doing my own research. We talk about him being the most decorated fighter in UFC and just fighting in general. Have you been watching the Olympics, where it's just like the best people from all around the world are coming around and really competing?
I tried to. I don't know if you have to buy the Olympics or whatever, but I was at my mom's Friday night.
They're doing it this year.
I don't know how to find anything.
Yeah.
I tried to find the BMX thing, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we come from a really small hometown, maybe a couple thousand people. And one of the people that we went to high school with, his name's Nick Bruce. He competed. He's actually in the Olympics for the cycling freestyle. And He's like he's the first person from our town to ever make it to the Olympics, and it's the first year BMX was ever actually introduced. So it was a really big deal. And I found this Olympics channel that gave me a 30-minute preview. And I literally just missed him, like, on the seating one, the first one. And I watched all these other people in the last 3 minutes. He, like, did his thing. But unfortunately, Nick is hurt, and I didn't know that. So I waited 30 minutes, wasted my whole entire preview to watch him drop in and just wait off to the side. And I don't know if you want to dive a little bit deeper into his whole situation. You know better than I do.
Yeah, so just if you guys missed we talked about him in one episode when he like announced that he was going to the Olympics. Like Derek said, we come from a small town. We actually had one of the most iconic dirt ramp places around our area, like for miles and miles and miles. And people would come from all over to come ride at this place that we had here in our town called Jones Jumps. And me and Derek were little kids back there riding our, at the time, mongooses and shit back there, just watching these guys just jump jumps. And then, Nick Bruce comes back and he's doing backflips and flares and, tail whips and shit over these jumps like it's nothing. So, like, we looked up to him in a way at, some point of our life where, he was like the most dedicated person that we knew at the time to anything. And he worked his way up to Olympic status. He's competed in the X Games time and time again. And earlier this week in their first practice run on the course, once it was set up at the Olympics, he fell and hurt his shoulder that he had hurt the previous year at the X Games. He fell and broke his collarbone, had surgery and stuff. And he had hurt it in a practice run. So he didn't do any more practice runs trying to, let his shoulder rest and, get more strength up in it. But he didn't compete in the seeding round. And he tried to compete last night at the time of this recording, in the real run. And he did a run, but he really didn't do a whole lot because, he was hurt. And he didn't really have much to offer at the time. And from what I'm getting from his Instagram and stuff is he just wanted to make a run because he's at the Olympics. And I appreciate the hell out of that. He was clearly very hurt. He's been training his entire life for this. I mean...
And this guy is fucking tough. If you're anybody who wants to sit here and say that this man isn't, you have no fucking idea. This man is tough as hell. And I'm sorry, but... for what happened, I really wouldn't look at anybody in the top 3 as a real winner because Nick is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have fucking goosebumps of just even mentioning it. We would go and look, and I've been watching his career forever now. I don't love BMX anymore. He makes it so interesting because he is this fucking beast. I mean, he's dumped his money back into his career, bought a warehouse in Cleveland, dumps it all in there, really just to become great, has all the sponsorships that anybody could ever want as a BMX rider. He's just so accomplished, and for him not to get a real run at it is just devastating.
Yeah.
And I take it, I almost take it like personally because like, I don't fanboy over anybody, and I don't know Nick. Like, we were years apart in school. I was too big, and you're just this little kid and you're just watching and you're like too nervous to go and talk to him. But I just, no matter what, I'll always think back and like, it was not a real chance for everybody else because they didn't get to compete against the best person there.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. I've seen this dude do a backflip off of a tree root coming out of the ground. I will never forget that. He did a backflip off of a tree root. And I followed him on Instagram for years, and I see all the shit that he does, and not only is he consistent in the crazy shit that he does, but he consistently does more crazy shit than anybody else does, like, frequently. Like, it's not like he does crazy shit, like, here and there. Like, every run that he does in his warehouse and every fucking video that he posts on his Instagram is insane. Like, he's so goddamn good. And, we've talked about this before, too. We went to the Dew Tour Was that in Cleveland?
It went to the Dew Tour in Cleveland. I believe we were 12 and 13.
Yeah, and we literally saw BMX history. This was back when we were deep in BMX, but we saw history be made there. Like the first however
Mike
many
Spinner, quadruple tail whip.
Yes.
And the song "Shake It" by Metro Station was playing, and that's when we first got Wendy's. Shout out Wendy's.
Shout out Wendy's. Shout out Dew Tour. And but yeah, like we literally saw history be made there. And when I watch Nick's Instagram, it's like, yeah, that dude may have made history, but that run wouldn't have beat anything that Nick had put together. Like Nick puts together runs on courses that are just fluent and effortless. Like when you watch him do it, and it is devastating, honestly, that he didn't get to compete. But like he said today on a post that he put out, he's looking forward to 2024 in Paris. So he's already got
I hope he gets a chance again. I really do.
And I hope it takes gold.
What's crazy is there are 2 people from the U.S. So this guy is literally one of the best BMXers in the entire world. And I just think the world missed out on a great opportunity.
For sure. Do. Especially for the first time BMX freestyle being in the Olympics, they definitely missed out on one of the best, in my opinion, and this isn't just because I'm biased, which I am, but like the best person there. Like,
yeah,
you know, you got people around the world that have been waiting for this to be in the Olympics for decades, and it's finally there. And like, you know, due to unfortunate circumstances, they missed out on the best person there. But like he said, 2024, hopefully he, you know, gets there, and if he does, I think he's going to take gold because he'll have something to show.
I will just want to give a shout out to someone else who was at the Olympics, and he was actually at the Dew Tour all those years ago, I believe. Daniel Dares. He came in second and got the silver medal, and he's a big vet, and I'm sure actually Nick looked up to him growing up. I mean, we're only 4 years apart in age. So this guy's competing at a pro level, and he's still doing it and coming out in second place. I mean, what a fucking accomplishment. And to see someone from our childhood still doing it better than literally everybody else but one person is just, it's crazy to me. So shout out Daniel Dares, and I really hope, Bob, that we can one day get Nick on this and really just talk about it. I don't think it's that crazy of a world. I mean, I think it could happen. We know the right people.
Yeah, it definitely could, and that would be awesome that would definitely be awesome to have him on, because, you know, like I said, I looked up to that dude for quite a significant portion of my life, and, you know, the dude's fucking, as the gamers say, cracked at biking, dude.
Cracked my guy.
Anybody that can fucking do a backflip off a goddamn tree root is god level bikers to me.
Yeah, it's almost a qualification to get into the Olympics. If you can't do a backflip off a goddamn tree root, what the fuck you doing?
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but that's all we got for this episode of the Cracked One Open podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're looking for a little bit of a different version of the Cracked One Open podcast, every Friday at noon, we post the video version on YouTube. Go over there, show us some love. We got a big boost last week. Thank you all very much, and peace out. See ya.
Later.